And now some flexing for the thumbnail for this review. Here it goes. This is what it looks like in practice, preparing the whole video, and this is for the thumbnail. Why not? For those of you who have been following my channel for quite some time, it comes as no surprise that I like learning German in my free time, and there is also a German description of this film, so maybe let me give it a go. Why not? Charlie Sheen in einem packenden Thriller voller rasanter Verfolgungsjagden und spektakulärer Stunts. Dankeschön.
Ein Film mit rasantem Tempo.
Es ist Showtime!
No Man's Land. Tatort 911.
Hello guys, I hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel called Blast and the Past. And this time around I have a review of a pretty underrated flick called No Man's Land from 1987, starring Sweeney and Charlie Sheen, and also Randy Quaid in one of the roles. And this is a completely forgotten film for some reasons. It's an action film with a cop going undercover, infiltrating a car thief ring. There are lots of action sequences, a great car chase in the middle of the film, there is some tension, a little bit of romance. I think it's the whole 9 yards, and that's a shame that the film is vastly forgotten. It didn't earn, unfortunately, a lot of money, and it faded into obscurity at the time even of its premiere, although some critics really held it in high esteem like Roger Ebert, and I think it's worth revisiting, for example for the fans of Charlie Sheen, because he's got many interesting roles with various actors and directors, and this one, definitely it is worth checking out or revisiting for many merits and for many advantages.
Nowhere to turn.
These guys ever give up? I do this for a living.
So without further ado, I have the German Blu-ray release of this film, which I would like to talk about in detail, in depth, a little bit more. Buckle up, and literally buckle up, because there are lots of car chases at high speed, at high velocity. You may want to grab some popcorn if you are into it, and something to drink. And let's get it rolling, shall we?
Showtime, folks.
No Man's Land.
Let me start with my brief take on the film. I really liked it. I saw it for the first time ever yesterday. It was my special weekend screening. And I think maybe also the timing was right, but generally the film is great. So I like those stories about cops going undercover, infiltrating some criminal rings, and this is exactly what this film is about. The only thing I hadn't been aware of is the fact that actually it's not Charlie Sheen who is that cop, but it's Sweeney. So that was a big surprise for me. But I think if you just read the description, so it's obvious, but I hadn't known anything about this film, and this is what I love. So you have an old film which is new to you, and you may watch it if it were a new screening of a new film. I like those underrated gems which flew under the radar at the time of its premiere, and they have been largely forgotten by the audience for some reasons, and this is one of them, one of those flicks.
So good, 'cause I got you!
I want Barrick. Concentrate on Barrick. Rich boys like you turn my...
And like I've said in the introduction, it has everything, all the major elements a good flick motion picture should have. We have a great cast, because there is Sweeney, there is Charlie Sheen, there is also Randy Quaid in one of the roles. We have a combination of many genres, so it is never boring, because of course there is a lot of action, there is some thriller thrown into it, a little bit of tension, playing on two sides, a double agent, let's say, because on the one hand you infiltrate a criminal ring, on the other hand you don't want to go native, as they say, so become one of them by accident. So you have to balance it out, and of course you don't want to have your cover blown. There is also a little bit of romance, so this is yet another thing which may attract a larger audience, and that would be it.
I need you to watch my back. Can't do this anymore. I feel dirty.
It's directed very well, it is well acted, nice performances. Young Charlie Sheen, he was around 22 years old. I don't get it why it was so unsuccessful at the box office, but it was a little bit more successful with some critics. But if I may, I would highly recommend it to you guys, and especially for those who like Charlie Sheen, although he's a very controversial figure, because he's been sleeping around, you could say, with many women, but you know, especially in his prime, in his heyday, he was a very handsome fella, wasn't he? So, on the other hand, can you blame him? But he got into drugs, into alcohol addiction, you know. So, like I said, a very controversial figure. But apart from that, so I think that if you have a chance to watch it, please do, because I don't think it would be a wasted time, and also the running time of the film, it is pretty encapsulated, because it's a little bit over 90 minutes. So everything is there, and it comes highly recommended from me, if it means anything at all, of course.
No drugs in the house right now.
Not that I know about. If I know about them, I'll find them and throw them away. It's not a big deal. Ooh, drugs in the house.
As you know, I'm a fan of physical media, and this is a physical media release. This is the German Blu-ray edition, which is easily available, I suppose. And not only is the cover great, but also the picture quality delivers on all fronts, I would say. The picture is crisp, it's sharp. Even in the still of the film, in this frozen frame, you can see the details in the background, everything is there. Maybe actually it's a good idea for me to play it, so you could see it in motion. And here it goes. You see, there are no smudges, everything is sharp, crystal clear, and I like it very much. This is a full screen presentation, which I also love, I admire. I don't have any complaints. If you have a chance to grab a copy of this, please do. This is a Region B release, and it also has, as a bonus feature, let's say, not only the German subtitle, but also the English ones. So this is an added value, I would say, to this otherwise still fantastic release. And it was released by Explosive Media, and I like this label very much because every single release from them, it's worth picking up, it's worth recommending. And this one is no exception, that's for sure. So this is yet another bullseye from the company. It comes highly recommended. I think that even on the Blu-ray.com website, it has the score of 4 out of 5 for the picture quality. So do you need any more recommendation? If you have a chance, please give it a go, especially with this edition.
Charlie Sheen.
And now a short presentation of this German Blu-ray release of the film No Man's Land from 1987. Here is the front cover, here is the spine, and here is the back cover with the description. Actually, I like the layout very much because it shows you right from the get-go what you are getting into. So lots of police chases. There is also a Porsche as one of the protagonists, we could say, of this film. Because maybe it was sponsored, the film, by Porsche or not, but this is interesting that they don't want to steal anything else apart from the Porsche cars, and that would be it. So a very slick, very attractive presentation. The layout is great, the colors, a little bit of black, the main protagonist on the cover, so everything is there. And here is the inside, just if you want to have a look at that also. What is there? And that would be it. Now let's pop the disc in and let's talk about the film some more, shall we?
No limits.
This ain't exactly repo work. This ain't exactly work, period.
And now let me read out a short summary of the plot, featured of course on the IMDb website. And here it goes. Here's a shorter one. A rookie cop goes undercover and infiltrates a car thief ring. And a little bit more detailed one. Courtesy of Matt. Benji Taylor is a rookie cop who goes undercover to nab a gang of car thieves led by Ted Varick. Taylor becomes too involved and starts to enjoy the thrill and lifestyle of the car thieves and falls in love with Varick's sister Anne. Once again, kudos and props to Matt.
Why me? Because you don't act like a cop. You turn
And right now off the screen you have probably the best car chase featured in this whole film, and it's only a mere beginning, but cars start flying around. There are some explosions and crashes, just like in here for example, and it reminds me a little bit of Blues Brothers and that famous scene with the cars. And this is great, and this is just one of the highlights of this film. Definitely worth picking up, and it's a thrilling ride, that's for sure. And now let's have some pieces of trivia on No Man's Land, and here goes the first one. Brad Pitt, as a fancy party waiter with a mullet hairdo, can be seen very clearly the second after Charlie Sheen says, "Welcome to the lifestyles of the rich and aimless." He's in the middle of the room and then walks off screen to the left. And actually, I believe that this is young Brad Pitt in here with this funny mullet, his funny hairdo. I believe that this is him, and if you have a look closer, probably it is him. But allegedly, this is not the only scene featuring him, because there are 3 more. But maybe also I will be able to identify them, but we shall see.
Who was that? Nice girl with some bad habits.
And another piece of trivia, actually also involving Brad Pitt, here it goes, it's featured on the IMDb website. Brad Pitt revealed that he almost got fired on his very first film. He played a waiter with no lines, but he wanted to get a SAG, Screen Actors Guild cut, which required actors to have a line of dialogue. He improvised something he believed was appropriate, but as soon as he did, the director called out "cut!" and the assistant director told him he would have been off the set if he did it again. And this is funny when you see the beginnings of major big stars in Hollywood, how they started very humbly, and you do your best to just get your 5 minutes of fame at the very beginning to show off, like Van Damme started jumping as an extra in one of the scenes in some low-budget flick. So kudos to Brad Pitt, right now a great, well-known actor. And another piece of trivia on the IMDb website, as they mentioned there are 2 other points at which Brad Pitt and his beautiful mullet are prominently featured. When Ted introduces Bill to Anne, he is directly in the background. When Ted introduces Bill to Margot and everyone, Pitt is taking drink orders. So actually 3 brief moments, so... Well, the more the merrier. Regarding the cast and Randy Quaid, who is featured on the screen together with D.B. Sweeney, here goes another piece of trivia. Charlie Sheen and Randy Quaid previously starred in The Raid from 1986, another film about criminals engaged in automotive crimes. Quaid plays a cop in both films. Then they would meet up again in Major League 2, where in that film Quaid harasses Sheen again as a frustrated fan. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, right now I think that Randy Quaid, recently he's gone a little bit mad because I've heard crazy wacky stories about him, claiming that he is being chased by some gang, they want to execute him, assassinate him. You have to read some more about it, but really it is a little bit crazy and terrifying.
Vile thing! You make my butt sting! I detest you! You're all garbage!
And last but not least, regarding the financial failure of the film, this piece of trivia is also featured on the IMDb website. Although the plot of the film is exactly the same as Point Break and The Fast and the Furious, it came before those films and was the least successful at the box office. And mind you, it had the budget of $8 million, but it grossed not even $3 million worldwide. So it must have been a spectacular failure, unfortunately, and maybe also that's why partially this film right now is completely forgotten by many, even fans of Charlie Sheen.
Take a look around, Bill. America's finest to play.
And this is pretty funny to see Charlie Sheen as such a young star in one of his first roles, probably, because at the time of the filming he was 22 years old, give or take. The film was released in 1987, Charlie Sheen was born in 1965, I believe. And like I said, it's great when you see the beginnings, the origins of right now major Hollywood stars. Like we had Brad Pitt featured somewhere in the foreground, we have Charlie Sheen, quite surprisingly as a bad guy, as a spoiled kid who has everything. He has the family money, so he hasn't got rich on his own. But still he dabbles in crime for some reason. Maybe he's looking for excitement, but apparently if you are rich, it's never enough, you want more and more. But like Gordon Gekko said in Wall Street from the 1980s, greed is good. Well, I don't think so, but definitely it is better to have more money than not.
That greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
For those of you who have been following my channel for quite some time, it comes as no surprise that I like learning German in my free time. And there is also a German description of this film, so maybe let me give it a go. Why not? Der Polizist Benji Taylor, D.B. Sweeney, wird in eine Gangsterbande eingeschleust, die sich auf den Diebstahl von deutschen Sportautos spezialisiert hat. Schnell erliegt Benji der Faszination des plötzlichen Reichtums und der schnellen Autos. Freundet sich mit Bandenchef Tatort Charlie Sheen an und verliebt sich in diesen atemberaubende Schwester. Bald weiß nicht mehr, auf welcher Seite des Gesetzes überhaupt steht. Erst als ein Vorgesetzter getötet wird, entzieht sich stets ein Fluss. Charlie Sheen in einem packenden Thriller voller rasanter Verfolgungsjagden und spektakulärer Stunts. Dankeschön.
Charlie Sheen. Er geht aus. Er sieht sich um. Er hat eine neue Beschäftigung.
And actually I've been able to understand a little bit of it, so I think that it's very rewarding, very gratifying. And like I said, this film has also the German subtitles, so it's great if you want to learn this language, brush up on it a little bit more, because you may pick up some words along the way, along the ride we could say, because definitely there is a ride, a thrilling one, in this motion picture.
Es gibt hier eine Werkstatt, die Porsche stiehlt. Ich setze auf den Besitzer, Ted Barrick.
And like I've mentioned before, the famous critic Roger Ebert gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, and this is what he has to say, or rather write, about this film. This is a movie about how money and excitement generate a seduction that can change personal values. It's better and deeper than you might expect. And he praises the car chases, the performances, so he must have liked it very much, and I agree. I hope that more people, especially after having seen my review, will decide to watch this film too.
No, Rick's not here. Who am I? I'm the guy stealing Rick's car.
And also the film is defended by many users on the IMDb website, and here's one of the reviews featured therein. It's a very underrated film. The film is nearly 20 years old. Well, right now it's a little bit longer in the tooth, but my review is from 2024. So the film is nearly 20 years old, but still rated as one of the best movies I've ever seen. Oh, and the score is 10 out of 10. I wouldn't go that high, but still, definitely, it is an underappreciated, underrated gem.
Like that one. Come on.
And another review focuses on Porsche, the Porsche cars featured in the film, and it says, in a way, having a Porsche in a city like Los Angeles is a clear invitation for car thieves to take them, as demonstrated in No Man's Land, the 1987 film that has a look of a movie made for television, but in this case maybe a little bit because the director was mostly known for TV work, but after all, JoeTix100 gave it 7 out of 4 stars. So especially the car chases, it is not visible, and if you are a TV director, you know how to work within the budgetary constraints, because I don't believe that $8 million at the time, it was a big sum after all.
Trying a new line of work. Charlie Sheen is Ted Barrick, crossing the line into no man's land.
And I like this comment by Bill357. As I watched No Man's Land, I couldn't help but get envious of DB Sweeney's character. Charlie Sheen gave Sweeney a job, took him shopping, let him crash at his mansion, offered up his hot sister, and gave him a frigging Porsche. Yeah, it does happen in the film. As always, thank you very much for your attention, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed my review of No Man's Land from 1987. If you have liked it, please give that video the thumbs up. Please share your comments on the film, on the performances. If you are not subscribed to this channel, maybe you could consider subscribing to it. And of course, I wouldn't mind if you recommended this video to your friends. And I hope to see you guys next time. See you later. Bye. Cheers.
Welcome to No Man's Land.
Take a look around.